baby. This is the MeMe show. This episode is not sponsored by anyone in particular, but thank you to the viewers. Uh, we are today blessed with the presence of Mr. Coach Michael Herbert. I'm saying Mr. of Coach Michael Herbert. Um, Correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like I know a little bit about y'all about you by now. You are you have a 501c3 African Hopeful Horizons.
That's correct.
You are working with Farm to Table in Ethiopia to help children get a protein a day.
Well, what it
Correct.
is these kids come to school and they don't get any lunch. And so initially I wanted to create a lunch program for them. And so
Mm,
we were going to provide food and let them have lunch every day. But I realized that I would be doing this forever and it would be going on forever. I'd be supplying this food. So I came up with the idea of why don't we get chickens and chickens will have chickens or chickens will have eggs, and then we can have eggs for
yeah.
lunch so then the kids can
Mhm.
get a protein. They not only get a protein for lunch, but they're incentivized to go to school because they'll get to eat.
Right.
So, we may
Oh
take
my
this for
God.
granted here in the United
Yeah.
States, but these kids want to eat. And if they show up to school, they'll get a lunch, which will have a protein in. I insisted that there be a protein. If it were up to them, they may have gotten a protein once a week and then got some grains or something like that.
Right. Hmm.
So I said, no, they have to have an egg a day. As a matter of fact, they need to have 2 eggs a day. So I'm
That's the
purchasing
goal.
more chickens so they can have 2 eggs a day for lunch, regardless of whether the culture or the way that they've been doing things supports that. I
Right.
told them the only way I'll do this is if you give these 2 kids 2 eggs for lunch. And
Right.
so they're getting 2 eggs for lunch now.
Mr. Herbert,
Yeah.
this is going to sound like a little bit of a dumb question, but I'm going to say because I want to hear what it sounds like outside my head.
Okay, but could you stop calling me Mr.
What
Herbert?
gives, oh, sorry,
Yeah, just call me
Michael.
Michael. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Bad habit. I'm a Southern gal.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry.
Well, we got to get
Um,
you out of the South because I'm from the East Coast,
I
you
know,
know?
I know, I know. It's so hard. It's so hard.
Yeah.
Michael, uh, my question, what gives you the cojones with the balls or the whatever it is that you have inside you that says that you can take on feeding people in another country that have completely different lives, like they don't even like we don't. I was looking at your videos. This is culturally with the weather, everything, we're just completely different people. What makes you think that you know what I'm saying?
Well, let me tell you something. And that word is the problem that most people have. It's think. I didn't think about it. I was on a tour in the hottest place on earth. And in the middle of right before we went on the tour, we were waiting for these other people. And we were at this village. The village leader decided he was going to show me his village. So we're waiting for these people. I'll
Right.
see the village. He showed me that a dust storm had blown over his school. And everything was in shambles. Desks, everything was just blown over. So I told him, this was in June of 2023. And I told him, listen, if I ever come back to Ethiopia, I'll bring you some school supplies. 2 months went by. We were in September and I was looking at my pictures and I said, I got to get back to Ethiopia. I just feel drawn to Ethiopia. But then I said to myself, oh shit, I told this guy I'm going to get him some school supplies. So now let me figure that out. So I decided to do a fundraiser. And I said, if I can raise $1,800, I'll get $1,800 of books, pencils, and blah, 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 and bring them over to Ethiopia with me. Within a week, I had raised $3,000. And within about 8 weeks, I raised $30,000.
That's right.
And $30,000, I can't bring $30,000 to Ethiopia. So I just wrote the IRS and filled out the paperwork for a 501c. And within a month, they granted me this 501c. So I have a not-for-profit. Now, most people thinking about a not-for-profit would have thought about it, discussed it, and ran this by this person, ran this by that.
Logistics.
I didn't even think about any of that. I said, let me raise this money. I raised the money. I raised more money than I thought I could raise. And then I had too much money. So I said, well, let's start a 501c. I filled out the application and the rest is history. So that was in, I went back December 2023 into January 2024. And I brought 7 large suitcases of school supplies. So it was books, pens, paper, crayons, art supplies, this, that, and the other. That following June, I came back with 9 large suitcases. This time I had computers, I had solar calculators, and every kid got a solar calculator. I had 5 computers. Every kid got a book bag. They all got pens, pencils, and school supplies for 2 years.
That's right.
That was in June of 2024. And then June of 2025, I went back again. No. Excuse me. Yeah, June of 2025, I went back again with 9 suitcases. I just came back from there, as a matter of fact, with 9 suitcases. In between all of this time, we had cemented the floors to the school. We got desks for 137 students. We cemented the walls and secured the windows at this one school. We built 2 chicken coops. We initially brought in 50 chickens. Then we got 100 more chickens, and we're supposed to get 60 more chickens. The next piece of this plan is to get some goats and to get some bees. We get the goats, the bees, the chickens. We now have this ability to feed these kids. And then the next piece of it is an education program or an internship program for the students who are interested in agriculture to learn to maintain the bees, the chickens, and the goats. And that's our plan. And we want to replicate it. We're going to replicate it in another school. And again, I don't want to get bothered with all of the bureaucracy that gets involved in these things. We're just going to make it happen.
That's
So
right.
I got 2 people on the ground in Ethiopia. I have a board of directors here in the United States. I got 4 people on the board here and 2 in Ethiopia and me. So that's 7 of us. And we're running this thing. We have raised almost $60,000 now. We're starting a new campaign now so we can raise some more money. And the goal is of AfricanHopefulHorizons.org is to provide educational materials and opportunities for remote areas of Africa. I'm not going into big cities where they already have the ability to get funds. I'm going to places that most people wouldn't even realize or recognize. Nobody knew this school. This was a war-torn area. These kids have missed 2 years of school because of the war. So some of them, you look at them and they're pretty big for their age. Well, that's because they didn't go to school for 2 years and they had to, go back, basically, to school to complete school. So these are the people that I'm helping. This is what I want to do. So I'm going to do it until I can't do it anymore. I'm going to do it until I get another idea. And the next idea, I'm going to go for that one too.
Is that how usually things work for you? Does the momentum, are you that type of energy person that you, because of how you move, it's just,
Let me tell you, it's because of it. It's absolutely true. About 4 weeks ago, some guy sent me this video on fasting, 100-hour fast. Michael, you want to do it? I said, well, if you can do it for 2 days, let me know after the second day, and then I'll do it. 2 days later, this guy calls me up. Michael, I'm in my second day. I said, screw it, I'll do it. I didn't read up on fasting. I didn't know anything about fasting, but I didn't eat anything
right.
for 4 days, 4 hours and 45 minutes. The only thing I had was water, salt with a twist of lime, and I had 4 shots of espresso. And I was able
Okay.
to complete and do a 100-hour fast. And then a week later, I did a 48-hour fast. So I know if I put way too much thought into something, I'll think my way out of it. But
That's right.
and when you do, sometimes when you do a lot of research, you'll find all of the difficulties and why you can't do it and this, that, and the other. I don't want that stuff to get in the way, so I just go for it. This week on Sunday, I looked into Yin Yoga, and so I've been doing Yin Yoga now. I've done it 5 days in a row. My goal is to I made a 6 month commitment, so I'm actually paying for it for 6 months. So I'm going to
Okay.
make sure that I get it done. But for me, I'm 66 years old,
I was
and
about to say, Michael, how old are you?
listen, I'm 66 years old, and I got to tell you, I'm in great shape. My VO2 max is basically has me as a man 15 years younger than what I am. So on I'm really like a 51-year-old physically. Um,
Sure.
but I work out regularly. I do all that stuff, but I don't stretch. So the yoga is going to help me stretch, but it also aligns with the meditation that I've started to do because I meditate regularly and I journal. So I'm working on being a healthier person spiritually. Um, I'm trying to figure out, what the next step is, where I'm going, but I'm just
Mhm.
staying on this path and
Right.
doing what they say, the next right thing, I guess,
What you
to move
started.
forward.
Yeah.
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 hmm And
I'm
so
excited.
what I
And I'm
figured
not
out,
even a part of it.
yeah, what I figured out in my life, my life is really about helping others. And so helping these kids, doing some of the other, I do coaching, so I help people in other ways, is really what life is all about for me. I can't speak for other people um, about their philosophy in life and what it's about, but I do know there are way too many people that I've observed that are just focused on themselves. How do I get more? Now, a lot of people, I get why they're focused on themselves. It's because they're afraid. They're afraid that there won't be enough, things will run out. So they've got to, you watch that show on hoarding, and you see all of these people with all of this stuff in their house. Well, there are people who hoard money, and they got all of this money in the bank that they're never going to spend. Why do they need so much? Because they're afraid. They think they're going to run out. I am working from a place where I am not going to be defined, or fear isn't going to run my life.
That's right.
I know based on what's happened to me in my life in general that I'm going to be okay. So I don't need to focus on hoarding money
Right.
to feel safe. I am concerned, so I try not to overspend, but I'm not going to not enjoy my life because I'm afraid that I have to hold on to stuff.
Right.
My,
When
yeah.
I used to when I lived in LA, I one of the things that I used to do to deal with my mental uh was hike I used to go hiking, and there's a lot of hiking trails in California. But
Hmm.
my thing was, when I would reach the top, and I do it really early, I'd be like, I'd say to myself, "Look what you did today already. So whatever hard or difficult thing of the day can't be as hard as climbing up this mountain."
Hmm.
How it? I feel like that's kind of like how
Now
your
listen,
philosophy is, like
you're
the way that
listen.
it, because
Earlier
you
this
can't get
year,
sad for real if you've seen all these things. How can you, like, I was thinking while I was reading about you and whatnot, I'm like, how can I how can I justify feeling bad knowing how blessed, knowing how much I have, and knowing, how can I justify seeing so much lack elsewhere, seeing so much need that even I could fulfill some of other people's needs, you know? So it's like I can't justify me
yeah,
being
well,
upset
wait,
too much long.
you can't really, because even these kids, these kids, children, grandchildren, their parents and grandparents in this one particular village I was in may never experience in their lifetime a glass of ice water. We're talking ice, just a glass of water with ice in it. Their children, grandchildren, their parents, grandparents have never had a
Mm.
glass of ice water. And I'm
But can we
complaining?
do that, Michael? Can we do that though?
Can we do what?
Can we take them some ice water? Can
Um,
we do that?
that would be
Can we
tough.
do that?
That would be tough. I would love to be able to get a freezer and a block of ice and bring it out there, because Delau, that area is the hottest place on earth. It
We're
doesn't get
talking
any
area
hotter than that.
Dela
I
Delau.
think that's what they call it. Yeah. And it's the hottest place on earth. There is no vegetation. They have salt. Oh, I mean,
How are
it
the
is hot.
people there? How are there people?
Listen, there are people everywhere. There are people in Alaska, and there are people in the coldest places on earth. People wind up in different places, and for whatever reason, they don't want to leave, or they can't get out, or it's just the way that it is. You would wonder why. To me, I wonder why people live in New York.
Yeah,
I
that's what I was
mean,
thinking. I always wonder why people, like, here in the United States, I'm like, well, if you don't like the mudslides, move. If you don't like the snow,
mm,
move. And it's in the country, so I don't.
mm. Yeah, but these people can't
It's just
move.
how it
It's
is.
not. It's not like, oh, well, I'll just call up a moving van and then I'll move somewhere. Well, where would I move to?
Right.
There's
It would
no
be a whole
social
village
service.
moving too, right?
Yeah, there's no social services. There's no, it's every man for themselves in places like that. And you will die and you'll be forgotten. No one will ever know that you ever existed. So,
Hmm.
the kids at the school, I've been there 3 different times. And the 3 different times I've seen the kids, because I've taken pictures of them with the same clothes that they had on the last time I was there. And just as dirty as, I mean, just dirt everywhere on them. And the hair was dirty, the clothes were dirty, the hands were dirty, the feet were dirty, but they were some of the happiest kids that I've ever met. They laughed, they had fun, they kicked soccer balls with no shoes. I mean, it was a
And they
great
don't and they don't
experience.
know, right?
It was a great experience for me to be there. And let me go back to your little story on mountain climbing. I climbed Mount Muru this year, and I got to tell you, that's in Tanzania. I went and
The,
climbed Mount Muru, and it
the
was the
volcano.
no, 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 no. Mount Muru is somewhere else. I climbed a volcano in Ethiopia. But Murrow is the second largest mountain. Kilimanjaro is the largest, and I did that 2 years before. But I climbed up Murrow, and it is so steep. It was the most challenging experience I've ever had in my life, climbing that mountain. And guess what I didn't do? I did not summit. You know why? It was too hard. And I had to, you know what? Listen to my body. And my body says, Michael, you ain't going any further. You need to quit. So right before I got to the summit, it was probably I had to do maybe a 2 hour more hike to get there. I said, number one, I'm not sure why I'm going to go to the summit because it's raining. It is foggy. You can't even see in front of you. And physically, I couldn't do anymore. I pride myself on my physical fitness and conditioning, but I realized this is the first time. It's usually my mind that tells me to do more or do less, but my body told me, Michael, you're done. And I
How'd
stopped
that feel?
hiking. It felt great to be able to experience the humility in being okay with not completing. I didn't feel embarrassed. I didn't feel ashamed. Oh, Michael, you gave up. No, I took care of myself. I don't have anything to prove to anyone about climbing that mountain. I wanted to do it, but I wasn't able to. So I stopped. I made a great video though on stopping. I made it dramatic.
Good.
Just like that show Alone, when the people always have to call in for the guy to come to the helicopter or the boat to come rescue him. Well, I didn't get a
Somebody had to come
helicopter.
get you?
No, 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 no. I had to walk down the mountain, but
Oh,
I did tap out as they do on the TV show. But I had to walk back. They didn't send a boat or a airplane or a helicopter to pick me up. I had to walk back. So
but how many of these things that you do that are so difficult, like their perception of what really is hard is probably way, way.
well, yeah, what is hard? I mean, even the fasting for 100 hours, what about cravings? Well, I didn't get any cravings to eat. I thought I would, and I could let my mind think that that was what was going to happen, but it didn't happen. The only time I thought about eating was at breakfast time, lunch, and dinner because I'm conditioned to eat at those times.
Habit.
It's a habit that
Okay.
I eat at those times. It's a habit for me to have a snack. But I realized in fasting, I didn't need a snack. I didn't need dinner. I don't have a lot of fat on me, but I had enough fat on me to get through 100 hours.
Shoot, I probably get
And
through
I got to tell you,
6 to 8 weeks.
I got to tell you, most people are bigger than I am, and they've got weeks of fat that they
That's
could
what
live
I
off
was
without
saying.
eating.
I'm sure I
You
could
know,
go off for some months. Yeah. Yeah.
well,
I did the fasting
mhm.
back in the day.
Yeah,
I did I fasted my daughter was 2 years old and I was almost 300 pounds because when you have a baby and the baby comes out, the baby's only 7, 9 pounds and the
hmm,
rest is all still there. It's not baby weight.
yeah, hmm,
So I kept, I kept that weight and thought, well, I guess, you have a baby. And but I decided to, when she was 2 years old to go vegan. And the first thing that I did was fast. And then I did a 30-day fast. I lost 40 pounds. That was hard. And then it was in the South.
hmm,
There was no help in the South for me not to eat meat. It was all
hmm,
on me.
hmm,
As time in the years pass, I've let all that go, and I've just indulged, and that's why I feel like this is important that you've come in my life with these realizations of life in other planets,
hmm,
so to speak, for my own awareness. Yeah.
Hmm.
I myself also think to be a person of service.
Hmm.
Um, like in college, I used to. Nobody told me to, but I would get all the clothes and I would take it to all the girls a couple of months a year, and I would take it to the homeless shelter or to the battered women's shelter.
Hmm.
Before the kids went to spring break, I'd pass out condoms. Like, all right,
Hmm.
be safe, be safe. I'm
Hmm.
not their mama. I was just the same age, but I thought that first, no, I didn't think. I
Hmm.
knew that there was something that needed to happen, and that's what I thought it was, and so I just did it.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't have parents, Michael. I raised myself between foster care and family,
Hmm.
so I also have that in me, the mom to
Hmm.
everyone, the lack of what I had to other people.
Hmm.
Um, but seeing what you do and what you've done to help people, that's so hard. That's so hard. And you're
Hmm.
talking about you didn't think about it. You just moved in a purpose.
Hmm.
It's inspiring. I just wonder where where mine is gonna lead me. Where do I help better?
Well, you know
Because
what? I.
I'm a big girl. I got
Hmm.
food. I live in Huntington Beach. We got a nice home. So I know that I shouldn't be in types, or from what I see when I see things, I'm like, I shouldn't be depressed the way that I get depressed. I shouldn't get sad the way I get sad. I shouldn't, seek other substances and things to calm myself and my nerve and my loneliness. Look at how good things are.
Right, but I mean, listen, I'm not a doctor. I can't, you know, diagnose or anything. But depression. A lot of people experience depression. I have experienced depression. There's work that you need to do, and yeah, if I just know alcohol and marijuana are both depressants. So if I drink and smoke weed, then I'll probably become more depressed. So I've got to find alternatives to depression. One of the things that I do kind of naturally is exercise, because it kind of gets, blood flowing in your brain, the oxygen and all of that stuff. And I feel good about it because I look good after I exercise. And there's something
You've
about
always
that.
been this
But
way,
I have
an
always
exercise
been,
person.
I've never been, and I've never been, I didn't play basketball as a kid, football or baseball, so I've never been on a sports team. I was never identified as an athlete, although at the age of 58, I labeled myself a professional athlete because what I was doing athletically was consistent with a professional athlete. And I didn't need some body or person or agency to identify me as a professional athlete. I decided to identify as a professional athlete, and I've kept up my athletic um, agenda for probably since I've been actively athletic, probably since 40. Prior to 40, yeah, I went to the gym, but I wouldn't really consider myself athletic. At 51, I ran a ultra marathon, which is 250 kilometers, which is 155 miles through the Sahara Desert. It was 120
Yeah, you did.
degrees. I did that. There was no point in doing that I thought I could do it, but every day I got up and ran and walked anyway, and eventually I finished.
Where does this come from?
I'm not exactly sure because I can't tap into it in everything that I do. and always, but I do
Mm-hmm.
get inspired at times around some things. And
Mm-hmm.
when that happens, I go for it. I don't miss that opportunity to utilize what's come to me. And this whole idea about manifesting, you know what? All you have to do, or at least all I have to do, is prepare myself for the next thing. So if I'm prepared, that next door will open, and then my job is to walk through that next door. And there are 3 or 4 doors that I could walk through. So now I get to choose which one am I going to walk through. It doesn't really matter. Walk through any of them. Each one of them has an opportunity. There is no right or wrong door. I'm going to learn from whichever one I go through, and I got to keep that attitude up. Oh shoot, I should have went through the no, I went through the right door and I got what I was supposed to get. And I keep walking through the next door.
I spend a lot of time thinking, and you don't think, you move. I feel
I
like
do
my brain,
move.
my like how you say you get ready for the next thing. I got the
Mhm.
ADHD thing where I get ready like that, but then I have lots of little things that are started, but nothing completely finished yet. I just start a lot of things. I have a lot. My podcast and my show has been probably the most that I've stuck to
Mhm.
something besides my children and taking care of my
Mhm.
children my whole life. Um but yeah, I I I
You know,
I commend you to for your workout.
I just
I
wrote,
would love to find it in me.
let me tell you something. I just wrote an article on just of what you were talking about. And my lack of success has to do with my lack of follow through. So I do a good job at some things, especially things that I'm good at.
Hmm.
So I get to a certain level. But why haven't I achieved more? Because sometimes I get satisfied with that certain level and I don't challenge myself more to get more and to be more. So even my engagement and involvement with you and these podcasts are my attempt to move past what I'm good at, to move into an area that I may not be so good at, but if I practice it enough, I can get good enough at and
Hmm.
maybe move towards a greater accomplishment or achievement in my life. Because listen, I've got 20 to 25 summers left on earth. I will be dead in 25 summers. So, what am I going to do between now and 25? You know what? I can sit on my ass and watch TV and go down to the beach and go to the store and this, that, and the other. Or I can create some purpose for what's left. Because when I'm dead, I will be dead and gone. There is no more. What money I don't spend will be left for the state or somebody else to have. I don't know who's going to have it, but I'm going to be gone. There is going to be no more me. So, what I have right now is the most important thing that I can have. And what am I going to do right now? So, right now, I'm talking to you and I am
Thank you.
enjoying this moment, right? I guess if I wasn't talking to you, I could be watching Netflix, maybe enjoying that moment. I could be out walking my dog, or I could be doing nothing, getting nothing. But right now, I'm getting something out of talking to you and being with you today. And so this is good stuff for me. And I
You change
try
the
to,
world though, Michael. You don't just
mhm,
you're not just working out. You're not just doing these, it's not a just like what you are is something that people probably dream of being and don't see. Like, oh, that's just, and it seems like so far fetched. Like you've changed the world. You're making the world better with your life.
You know what? You are absolutely right. And I say that with humility. I am making the world a better place. And I'm just one regular guy. I'm not some big shot Tony Robbins or, Dr. Phil or any of those people that have 1,000,001 people watching them. I'm just this one guy, right? And those kids in Ethiopia got something special from me, and I know that I appreciate it. I am appreciated, and I appreciate them. And I work with people in the United States, and I help them out, and I feel really good about that. But I've learned to take care of myself first. Just like they say, when the oxygen mask comes down, place it on yourself first before you can help somebody else. And if I don't help myself, I can't be there for anybody else. So it's important for me to take care of myself physically, mentally, and spiritually, so I have something to give to others. And I have no problem giving to others. I have so much that I don't even know what to do with all the stuff that I have. So you want it, come get it. I just give it to anybody. I was at the gym today. I'm a beekeeper. So,
Yes, I saw your
I
video.
brought with the girl at the gym. I promised I'd bring her some honey, so I brought her some honey, and I sell it to her. And three other people at the gym. Oh, you sell honey? Can I buy some? And I sold
That's right.
like 4 jars of honey at the gym today. And people love my
That's
honey.
40
It
bucks.
really is. It is the best honey around. It's so sweet and it's so delicious. And I love the idea that I have honey to give to me. There's a part of me that wants to give it away to everyone, but I know that I'm paying for the jars, I pay for the bees, the beehives, and all the work that I
Right,
put in. I
right,
have to sell it. Um,
right.
but it's like and I'm not saying this in an egotistical way, but people enjoy talking to me because I have so many interesting things going on. And
Yes,
I
you're
like,
very interesting, and you're so bright. It's like so
uh,
bright, like there. I don't feel confusion. I don't feel hesitation. Um, Everything that you're saying is just your truth. So, like, why would you hesitate?
well, listen, I suffer from low self-esteem, and I do work on that, because I may present with confidence, but underneath it is low self-esteem. Although that self-esteem has been risen, so I'm not like I used to be. I'm not as self-conscious as I used to be. I can make statements about myself in a very positive way and affirming way. Yeah, some people might say it's arrogant, but it's really not arrogance. It's a kind of knowing about myself that I've learned over time. So I do have a certain confidence. Um, I can walk into a room with strangers and not feel insecure like I used to feel. Um, I can walk into a room of strangers and not feel so secure and leave, and then not feel self-conscious that I left early. But I left because it didn't feel right for me.
You're
So I
done.
needed to leave. Um,
When did this Michael begin? Was this Michael Little Michael, or was this Michael at the turn of an event? Or
I got to tell you, if I were to think of, I had an experience today in yin yoga. It's kind of wild. I was doing yin yoga, and at the end of the yoga, it's the meditation piece. And I was drifting off, and I saw myself as a little boy. Maybe I was 4 or 5 years old. And then from the left side of me, there was me as an adult. And Mina, as an adult, was asking me as a little boy, do I need some help? Can I help you? Can I hold you? Is there anything that I can do for you?
and you did that without mushrooms?
No, I do it without mushrooms. I did it in meditation. And yeah, I don't do drugs. Um, and it was powerful. I started to feel emotion, and then the woman edited the meditation and it stopped. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because this is representing Big Michael nurturing little Michael, and I'm in the beginning of that process. It's not done yet. I'm in the beginning of it. And that visualization or dream that I was having was about Michael. You are healing yourself, and you're healing little Michael, who was insecure as a kid, who felt lonely, who didn't think that there was anyone there for him, that little Michael had to figure everything out on his own and by himself. I didn't have any positive male role models to show me the way. So I wasn't into sports. I was about, let me hide so nobody sees me, or let me put this mask in front of myself so nobody sees me, so they can't hurt me. And so I lived a whole life. I really believe on some level, as far as being a man is concerned, I had to figure that out on my own. I was raised by my mother. I had two brothers. You know, we lived in my grandparents' house, but my mother couldn't teach me how to be a man. My grandmother couldn't do it. My grandfather was off doing his own thing. My uncles were doing their own thing. My older brother was doing his own thing. So I had to figure it out all by myself. And so as a child, I felt lonely. I felt sad, blah, 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 blah. But as an adult, I have been able to figure some things out with the help of others. So there was a period of my life of innocence, and that was probably from maybe birth to the fifth grade. And then into the sixth grade, I went to public school and lost the innocence, and that's when the drugs came in. For years, I was dependent on drugs and used drugs, smoked crack, blah, 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 you know, the whole story. Then you go to rehab, and then your life changes. And so I've been in this change for now 36 years of practicing a new way of living, which includes, I don't know, I went to 12-step meetings, I've gone to therapy, I've gone to retreats, I'm a beekeeper, I've run marathons.
Recovery. It's what you call recovery. This is all
Well,
recovery.
it's what I call recovery, but it's not as bland and as boring as going to 12-step meetings and reading some book and getting a sponsor. You know, it's that, but it also includes running, hiking, getting dogs, beekeeping, developing relationships with people, yoga. It includes all of this stuff, not just one thing. So I don't credit my recovery to this therapist or a 12-step thing.
Right.
It includes diet, exercise. It includes all of these things that I'm willing to practice and check out and try out, see what fits. If it doesn't fit, I'll try something else. If it does fit, I keep it. I'll keep it for as long as it's working, and then I may switch to something else.
Mhm.
But for me, I can't afford to experiment with drugs. That includes alcohol. That includes nicotine. Um, you know, mushrooms, cocaine, weed. Right now, I'm good without it. There is no medical necessity for me to drink whiskey or smoke crack or do heroin or even smoke weed. It might be nice and lots of people do it. That's none of my business. But my business is taking care of my temple and taking care of me. and anticipating problems that might happen based on decisions that I make. So I need to think through some of these things. Not everything is just kind of spontaneous, go, go, go. I do have to think through some things to keep myself safe so I can get through tomorrow. Because I got to tell you, if I start smoking crack tomorrow, I ain't going to have this house. I'm not going to have that car. I'm not going to have that 501c, and my weight loss won't be because I was fasting because of health. It would be because I'm fasting because I'm spending all my money on cocaine. And I've gone down to 158 pounds on cocaine. But when I got clean, I got myself up to 285. So I became a big boy for 12. But then I've been able to lose it. Now I'm down to 170 something. I'm at a great,
You're healthy.
actually
You're healthy. You feel good.
I'm at the weight that I was when I graduated high school. And so look at
I want to
me,
do that. I want to do that.
Yeah.
That's half of me. That's probably a third
Yeah.
of me.
Mm-hmm.
That 2/3 of me got to go, Michael.
Yeah.
2/3 of me has to
Well,
go.
when I did the fast, I posted it on Facebook, and there was a girl who followed me. And after I did the fast, she contacted me on Facebook. Hey, Michael, I did the fast, and mine will be over in 2 days. And she did 125 hours, right? And so she was inspired to fast based on me. So me and her got together, we created a group, and we got 6 other people to fast. This was only 2 months ago. But this girl used to weigh 350 pounds. And many years ago, she lost it. I mean, she's at a normal weight now, and she's a massage therapist and a physical fitness coach, and she works with people. And she fasts, she eats a healthy diet, but she's been able to keep that weight off for 15 years or so now, and is just a great inspiration for others. Yeah.
It feels like it's something bigger than discipline. It almost like there's a switch or something.
Well, it's bigger than discipline. Discipline can be too rigid. What it is freedom. And so how much freedom do I want? I mean, when I was 250 pounds, it's hard to get around. When you lose 100 of it, you feel free, you feel lighter, you're able to get things done. My biggest problem now is keeping my pants on. It's not because of a fashion thing that I wear baggy clothes. It's because when I lose weight, my pants fall off. And people say, oh, look at that old guy with them baggy pants. Right. No, that old guy's got baggy pants because he's eating right. It's not because I'm not trying to be fashionable.
Right. You got hiked up the britches.
Yeah, but it's not about discipline. It's about freedom. It's about gratitude. It's about
freedom. You keep going over that part really fast, and that's really solid. That's big. That's big. It's not discipline. It's freedom.
Yeah. And we're talking. Apparently, these are the things that I believe because they just flow from me so naturally. And I am in a state of freedom. And I want more of it. And I'm willing to work for
it. You've mastered detachment for sure.
I don't know that I've mastered it, but I work on it. And it's a constant training. It's a constant piece of work that I need to continue to do. If I practice it enough, it becomes natural. If I stop practicing it, then I'm back to where I was. But right now, I think I'm doing pretty good. Again, Sunday I started yoga, and I went Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. and I'm on track to go tomorrow.
I love
And
yoga. When I lived in LA, I had a yogi. She was so great, and I would go all the
mhm,
time. When I moved over this way, this is a tourist town, so the prices of everything are just hiked up for no reason, just because they know tourists coming. They don't care if you're a local or not.
mhm,
So I haven't been able to afford yoga the way that I did in LA. It was just $40 and I got I'm good for the week.
mhm.
But then I don't see it in myself to just put on a video and do it in the house. See, I can say it,
You
I
know,
can see it, but
mhm.
the doing they tells me that it's called executive dysfunction, that I have something called executive dysfunction through the ADHD stuff.
Mhm.
So I'll
Well, can
sit
I?
and I'll plan.
Mhm.
Go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, but like you've mentioned ADHD a couple of times, and I have it too, but I don't get caught up in that diagnosis. My job is to compensate for my deficits. So, I do, like people put these calendar notice, like they'll get a bing for the schedule for this appointment, that appointment. That doesn't work
Mhm.
for me. I write everything down on the notes on my phone. If I have a 9 o'clock appointment, I write 9 o'clock Monday. And then when that happens, I'll erase it and put somebody else in. And I do things manually because that works
Mhm.
for me. Um, I do not take any ADHD medications. I never have,
Mhm.
because one of the things that I realize now with stimulants, and I don't want to trigger that cocaine thing in me again. So I don't mess with those kinds of medications, because again, I don't want the problems that I used to have with drugs. And
Mhm.
the way for me to not have those problems is I got to stay away from the drugs.
Right. All
Um,
of them. The medication, all
yeah, yeah,
prescription,
I
not
don't. Yeah,
prescription. It doesn't
listen,
matter. Anything that's a
it
drug
doesn't matter. Listen, I got
or
total knee
medicine.
replacement. I got total knee replacement. I'm not going to not take pain medication. Of course, I'm going to
Yeah.
take it, but I'm not going to take something that I don't. There's no medical necessity for me to do street drugs, so I'm not going to do
No.
street drugs. You know, yeah,
No. And most of them
and
are all what is it? They're psychotics. They change your psyche.
yeah, and
Um,
listen, I did mushrooms in high school. I've done acid. I know what that feels like. I don't want to be that out of control. I don't need to trip. I got to tell you, when I fasted for the 100 hours, I have never felt so good naturally in my life. And that lasted for well over a week. I was buzzed, and the buzz came from not adding something, it was from taking something away.
I agree, and
So,
I see that happening to me in the I recently they put me in the rehab and then they kicked me out, Michael.
mhm,
They said you're not an addict. Uh we're gonna discharge you from the program.
mhm,
Like, okay. And then my doctor's like, no, you just have your mental. So they give me medicines. I take
mhm,
medicines. And the whole idea is that if I don't take them, I'm not capable. So for a period of time, that clouded me and made me angry, and all of life was just making me angry. So I started to do drugs that I'd never in my life.
mhm,
I'm 40 and I never did anything. I was always a good girl. So
mhm,
I'm like, you know what? Let me do things. I'm gonna do
mhm,
some bad.
mhm,
Uh, Seeing that I don't feel, I don't feel particularly good, and I don't see how my goals are gonna get met, and I keep gaining weight and
mhm,
and using food. Uh, I feel like food is my addiction.
mhm,
I stopped doing drugs and I'm good. I still
mhm,
smoke a little weed.
mhm,
Um, but all the other stuff, I'm good. Alcohol, whatever. But
mhm,
food has it's almost like it gives me the same feeling as having company.
Mm-hmm.
Like no matter what time of day or night I feel a certain way, I go make me a food and I sit and I feel good and I feel better. And I told the doctor that I'm like, look, I think I'm
Mm-hmm.
replacing, my loneliness with food and whenever because I don't date and
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a sexually active person. And I've recently lost a lot of my girlfriends through some mistakes of my own and through some growth,
Mm-hmm.
both things. But food is always there for me.
Mm-hmm.
And even when I didn't have money back in the day, and I was real skinny, skinny, skinny because I didn't have any money to eat. When I got money, I went Cheesecake Factory first,
Mm-hmm.
and then I got some weed, and then I got some little tacos, and then I went back to work and do it again
Mm-hmm.
until I was so sad and I had to do it again. Uh,
Yeah, and that's
but
that's a never ending cycle, and
you're
I mean,
inspiring me to fast. You are inspiring me to fast. I'm actually
mhm,
thinking that I can do it again because it's been so
mhm,
many years.
yeah, 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 and I mean, what do they say? Wheat, flour, and sugar are the addictive properties in food, and food can be just as destructive as other things. The only problem with food is we have to eat, and so if you have to eat, then you probably need to figure out, how do I eat for nutrition versus
Right.
taste and celebration and this, that, and the other. And I think we've gotten way too off on food, and we're always eating for some other reason other than
Some
nutrition.
reason.
And the only reason we really need to eat is we need to eat to live. And
Right.
from what I've learned, we only really need to eat once a day. But that takes discipline, that takes the want for freedom,
Yes,
and the
sir.
willing to practice a different way. But it's all mindset. There's a lot. You're bombarded with advertisements about food and fast food and eat this and Thanksgiving and birthday cakes and you name it,
Every party, every
everything.
celebration,
Yeah,
it's food.
every Sunday dinner at so and so's house or Tuesday family, whatever. It's all centered around food, and
I'm in LA, so we do brunch all the time. It's brunch.
yeah.
And you see
Hmm.
this? You see these books behind me, Michael?
Yeah. Hmm.
75% of them are self-help. I've read them all. I know you could say I know all the things, and I'm so close. That's why I feel like I'm like maybe I have more down to go or something
Hmm.
because I feel so close to my up. I feel so close. I have all the information. It's just the step of the doing, the step of the doing. And I don't mean to get caught up in diagnoses, like you said. I hope I'm not using it as a crush or as an excuse. But it's people like you, and having these conversations. I talk with an emotional intelligence coach on my show often. It's people like you that are changing my life just by being who you are, and
Well,
how
and the
you
thing
guys
is,
end up.
you don't need to read another book. You have enough information. Your job is now to practice what you've read in the books. And,
Right.
some things will work, some things don't. If it don't apply, let it fly and move on to the next. But you already have enough information, and reading another book is about procrastination. You don't need to read another book because that'll just keep you stuck from not, oh, I got to finish this book before I can start practicing. You don't need another
Right.
book. You
I could just
the
stop reading
answers are,
tomorrow. I don't need a book
yeah,
for that.
yeah, you got the answers within you. It's just starting, you just got to access those answers and then start to practice, practice a change. Yeah.
If I
Hmm.
could ask you just one or two more questions before we go.
Okay, one
Um,
or two, and that'll be it. Hmm.
yes, sir.
Hmm.
Um, I I'm you have your website about recovery, about addiction recovery, and this
Mhm.
is your job and your career. And I want to, I,
CoachMichaelHerbert.com.
that's right, CoachMichaelHerbert.com, everywhere, all social medias, and on Twitch.
Mhm.
And there is, and I, sir, you are in the top. Like, there's probably like a handful of people of your age on Twitch. When I showed my
Mhm.
children, I'm like, look at this man on Twitch. They're like, what's he doing? They thought it was funny.
Mhm.
Like, this man has things to teach.
Mhm.
That's why he's on Twitch. It's not an age
Mhm.
thing. Don't don't get caught up with
Mhm.
this is a kids thing.
Mhm.
Uh, now channels are free. You know,
Mhm.
it's not like back in the day where you had to pay a PBS or whatever. Um,
Mhm.
oh man, I lost my train of thought.
Um,
Oh yeah, your
yeah.
addiction. Your work, the work that you do. How
Mhm.
many years have you been an addictions coach or counselor, or did you do
Yeah, I've
that?
been a coach and a counselor, therapist, interventionist. I've been doing this since 1990. So I've been doing it for over 35 years. So I've
Mm-hmm.
worked with 10,000, tens of thousands of people. I was an expert witness for the Lawyers Assistance Program in New York. I worked with Dance Theater of Harlem. I worked for the police department. I worked for plumbers, Amtrak employees, people on welfare, people out of prison. I worked with, years ago, there used to be soap operas. So all the people and, people from TV shows like All My Children and One Life to Live,
Days in our lives
and
and all that.
and no, the days in our life, those are West Coast. I was the East Coast, so I was on
Oh,
Broadway and things like that, with working with people in New York, and then I came out to Florida. So I've been working with big shots and regular people like me, and men, women, younger people. I tend to not work with teenagers, although my first job was at an adolescent program. Um, and I've kind of wound down some of my work, so I take on special cases now, um, probably more short-term cases versus long-term, and I work for myself and I don't work for an agency. So I can kind of pick and choose the people that I work with, but
right.
I'm willing to work with anybody who's willing to work, you
Right.
know. Yeah.
I'd like the people to notice, people watching, notice how this gentleman has helped so many people. And still, you said a little bit ago that you do struggle with a little bit of your self esteem. So it's like,
Well, listen, I'm human. And so I don't know anyone who has reached the mountaintop and don't and doesn't have things to work on. Maybe there are people, maybe there are some people that have gotten to that place. I'm just not
they
one of
don't
them,
claim it though.
right?
You
But
say you feel free and yeah,
I'm aware. Listen, if I didn't tell you that, I'd be hiding a secret and you'd be able to tell, this guy's hiding something. He's not, you'd be able to figure that out with me. Yeah, listen, I don't every detail of my life isn't on Facebook. I don't share everything, but I'm honest about where I'm at. I'm honest about my struggles. I have people in my life who are willing to help me, and I'm willing to ask for help. And that's
that part.
that's it. In a month, and I'm not going to give you the title of it, but my book is going to come out, and I've written my first book, and hopefully we can talk a little bit about that, down the road. But
So I do have to
I
read
want
another book.
to. Well, you got to read one more book so you can write a review on Amazon for me. Yeah. Uh huh. Yeah. But yeah, and so yeah, that'll be your last book you need to read. Yeah. hmm
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
hmm
And my last question is going to be about
hmm
your bees. Are these bees going out the country? Or are these your bees? Or are you learning how to do the bees so you can do the bees over there?
No, I got bees. I got bees in my backyard. I got several beehives. I have, probably 100,000 bees in my backyard. And if I don't wear my protective gear, I get stung. So when I go out back,
Yeah.
I at least put a cover on my head because bees do go for your face. And I've been stung on my eyelids, and I don't want to get blinded by my bees. And my bees are pretty territorial. So when I get out there, because
How
I
do you
also
know that?
compost, excuse me,
How do you know that they're territorial?
because they sting me. And
Oh, they don't
that's
want you to touch their
because
space.
they don't want me in their space. But I also garden, so I have to get out there and I do compost. So I'm, always doing something in my little backyard. Um,
But these are your
and I
bees.
sell. Excuse me.
These are your bees. These aren't bees that
These
are
are
gonna go to another country anywhere
no,
to
no, no,
live.
no, 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 no. When I the program that I'm doing in Ethiopia, we will get beehives and bees there and produce honey that they can sell to maintain the chickens, the bees, and the goats. And the school can have money, and it's basically all money that we raise to give people something to eat. So we want to have healthy people.
How can people help? How can people watching us right now help
They can go
help with
on my
money? Or,
website to African Hopeful Horizons, and they can make donations, cash donations that they can put on there. And if they get in touch with me through the website or Michael at coachmichaelherbert.com, if they have computers, cell phones, other items that they'd like to donate, so the next time I go to Ethiopia, I'll put them in a bag and drop them off. hmm Yeah, I'm never going to go there with 9 suitcases again. That's just too much for one man. I've done that with 9 suitcases twice, and then one time I had 7. So the next time I go, I'm only going to bring 4 or 5. But what I'd like to be able to do is bring a group of people with me. So if people are willing to come with me, they can bring a couple of suitcases worth of stuff, and
I want to
they
come,
can visit.
Mr. Mike. I want to come, Mike.
Yeah, they can visit the school, but then we'll also do some adventure stuff. We'll go down the Oma Valley, and we'll see some of the tribe people, and we'll watch people drink blood, scarification. They put the lip things in their lip. Um, we can feed live wild hyenas. We can go to the
I
hottest place
saw
on
that.
earth.
I saw
Yeah.
you do that. You fed them out your mouth, Michael.
Yeah, I put a stick in my mouth and wrap some meat over it, and they come and just grab it. Yeah. hmm
That's amazing. They're like domesticated hyenas.
No, they're not domesticated. They're wild, but they've been habituated. They know people will feed them, so they're not going to
Yeah,
bite you. They just want the food, and then they go off into the wild. But Ethiopia has wild hyena. There, it seems like hyenas everywhere.
that was amazing.
Yeah.
That
hmm
was amazing. I saw that video. That was amazing.
Yeah.
I will have you again, if you allow me to, after we read this book.
hmm
Hopefully, what's that, next month, right?
The book should be out by the 1st of September, but ideally on the end of August.
Okay, so then end of August, give me September. Let's say around the beginning of October, I should have finished that book and I should have dropped a few pounds the next
Absolutely, and
time
it's a short
that we see
read.
each other.
Yeah, it's a short read, so it's not a 500 page novel.
Okay,
It's about
okay. It's a
150
lot. It's a
pages.
lot of
Yeah,
those.
yeah.
Okay.
hmm
Thank you for sharing, Michael, and thank you for your patience with me and with my mannerisms. Uh,
hmm
I'll see you in October, and I want to go with you to Ethiopia, and I will have 5 suitcases to bring to,
hmm
and we'll talk about all that. But thank you for your insight, and thank you for your stories, and thank you for sharing with the people, and I'm excited about anybody that can hear what you have to say. And I'm excited about you saying everything that you have to say and us recording it and putting it so that it can be repeated over and over and over again.
Over and over and over again, right? Mm-hmm. I'm going to be held
All right.
accountable to what I said, huh?
Well, it's good stuff. So not just accountable, but it came from, from you. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's love, and it seems to work in a level that I haven't seen things work with just one person.
Mm-hmm.
Usually you need a hive mind of people, to get things accomplished. And what you're doing, one, like you said, just one man without much thought, just going to do the thing is, yeah, it's very impressive and very
Mm-hmm.
impressive. And it's, it'll be a blessing to be a part of it with you. Do you
Yep.
have any questions for me since we're still here?
I have no questions. I'm good. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much again, Michael. Make sure that everyone goes to Coach Michael at Coach Michael Herbert at all social medias. He'll be going live and having podcasts soon, and all the little bits of that is going to be posted throughout his YouTube. Check out his website, and I'll put all the links in the bottom of how we can also help, however we can. So that
Thank you. I appreciate
was
that.
the MeMe Show. Thank you, Michael.
All
Have
right.
a good
See
day.
you. Bye.